The MCU is back with Thunderbolts. I'll cover everything Marvel's dropping in 2025 and 2026, but let me just dive into this one for a sec. This isn't just another Marvel flick, it's something special. First off, Florence Pugh absolutely nails it as Yelena. She's easily one of my favorite MCU characters right now, and she was on fire in this movie, outshining everyone. Sebastian Stan was great too, stealing so many scenes. David Harbour was hilarious, and Wyatt Russell played a super entertaining, arrogant character. Hannah John Kamen was awesome, showing a lot more depth and humor. Lewis Pullman, though? Wow. His performance was so much better than I thought it'd be. The cinematography, action, and score, all top-notch. And with that post-credit scene, Marvel is definitely cooking up. So let's see what else is on the menu. Ironheart. Ironheart is almost here. It's been 5 years since it was announced and 3 years since Riri Williams first showed up. The Marvel Phase 5 show will be the second MCU series of the year, right after Daredevil Born Again. Ironheart drops on Disney Plus on June 24th, 2025, or June 25th in the UK. That's 3 years since Riri's debut in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which came out in November 2022. Better late than never, right? The Ironheart cast includes Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, Angie White as Ronnie Williams, Anthony Ramos as Parker Robbins, the Hood, Manny Montana as Cousin John, Lyric Ross as Natalie Washington, Matthew Elam as Xavier Washington, Alden Ehrenreich as Joe McGillicuddy, and Reagan Alia in a role that's still to be confirmed. The cast list is pretty solid, but since this is Marvel, don't be surprised if we see some surprise cameos from familiar MCU faces. There's also a rumor that Mephisto, Marvel's version of the Devil, might make an appearance. He was officially confirmed in the MCU thanks to an episode of Agatha Coven of Chaos, and now it looks like he could show up in Ironheart. In the comics, Mephisto is a big villain who usually goes up against magic users like Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Ghost Rider, but he hasn't had his big movie debut yet. He was at the center of a ton of fan theories during WandaVision, with many thinking he was behind everything. Since WandaVision was the first Disney Plus series and had a lot of magical elements, fans expected it to shake up the MCU, and a lot of people thought Mephisto might be pulling the strings. The hype around Mephisto got so wild that even fans who'd never heard of him were suddenly seeing his name everywhere. But in the end, WandaVision didn't even mention him. It was Agatha all along causing the chaos in Westview. Even though WandaVision is still one of the most popular MCU shows, some fans were let down that Mephisto never showed up or even got teased. Well, it looks like Marvel's finally picking that thread back up. In Episode 3 of Agatha All Along, Mephisto's name is finally dropped, officially making him part of the MCU. It happens when Agatha's coven spots a strange sigil on Joe Locke's character and thinks she might have put it there. Later, Jennifer Kale warns Teen to be careful around Agatha, hinting that she may have traded her own son, Nicholas Scratch, for the Darkhold, and that he could now be working for Mephisto. That one line is a big deal. It's the first time his name is actually said in the MCU. We still don't know much about how he operates, but the mention of agents makes it sound like he cuts shady deals with desperate magic users. According to the show's creator Jack Schaefer, this wasn't just a throwaway Easter egg, it's setting up something bigger. So yeah, Mephisto is definitely making his move into the MCU. Mephisto's basically Marvel's version of the Devil. He rules his own fiery realm, feeds on souls, and thrives on tricking people with shady deals. Super evil, major manipulator, and absolutely not to be trusted. As for where he came from, that's a bit murky. One story says humans created demons like him through their darkest thoughts after the original ones got wiped out. Another claims he popped up 4 billion years ago as a creepy fly born from a dying Celestial's blood. Yeah, wild. Fast forward to now, and back in 2022, there were rumors that Sacha Baron Cohen would play Mephisto in Ironheart, which drops this year. The show's main villain is the Hood, who rocks a magical cloak with demonic powers, so it kinda makes sense Mephisto might be lurking behind the scenes. If Sacha Baron Cohen really is playing Mephisto in Ironheart, MCU fans could be in for a wild surprise in the best way. Most people still associate him with his outrageous characters like Borat or Ali G, but he's way more than just a comedian. He's a seriously talented actor, writer, and producer who knows how to dive deep into a role. If Cohen is actually Mephisto, all that waiting could totally pay off. The guy is a master of transformation, and Mephisto, a manipulative, shape-shifting demon, fits right into that wheelhouse. Nothing's official yet, but if the rumors are real, Cohen could bring something unforgettable to the MCU. When it comes to the Ironheart plot, there's not much out there yet. The last time we saw Riri was in Wakanda Forever, where she rocked her own Ironheart suit in the big final battle. So it's pretty safe to guess the series will pick up with her back in the US, dealing with whatever comes next after her time in Wakanda. What we do know is that Anthony Ramos is playing a character called the Hood, and he's not exactly a hero or a villain. Hopefully we'll get a better idea of what's going on once the first trailer drops. Until then, it's just a waiting game. Fantastic Four First Steps. Even though Marvel's keeping most details under wraps, Fantastic Four First Steps feels like a major deal for the future of the MCU. We don't know exactly how it'll shake things up just yet, but considering how important the Fantastic Four are to Marvel's comic book history, this movie is definitely setting the stage for something big. The title itself, First Steps, makes it clear this is just the beginning of their journey in the MCU. Marvel Studios has wanted to bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU ever since the Disney-Fox merger was finalized. Fans have waded through some pretty rough past versions of the team, but now that the rights are back where they belong, Marvel finally gets to do it their way. Matt Shakman, who did a great job with WandaVision, is directing after John Watts stepped away from the project back in 2022. Plot-wise, we still don't have much to go on. What we do know is that the movie will have a retro-futuristic 1960s vibe, inspired by the work of artist Sid Mead. That's a pretty bold direction and might set it apart visually from the rest of the MCU, though how it all ties into the larger universe is still a mystery. The film's official title was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con 2024, and now fans are waiting to see what comes next. Fantastic Four First Steps is currently set to hit theaters on July 25th, 2025, and given how long fans have waited, the hype is only growing. Eyes of Wakanda. The upcoming animated prequel series Eyes of Wakanda could only be realized through animation, according to its showrunner, Todd Harris. In a recent statement about Marvel Animation's 2025 slate, Harris explained that the series, which is a 4-episode Disney Plus limited anthology, is something he's been working on for a long time. He emphasized how Wakanda represents a place that's untethered by expansion, maintaining boundaries that no one can cross. Set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Eyes of Wakanda follows the Hattusaraze, brave Wakandan warriors, on missions to retrieve vibranium artifacts from enemies throughout history. Harris pointed out that the ambitious nature of the story made it impossible to achieve as a live-action series, especially given the globe-trotting elements of the plot. He explained that animation is the ultimate equalizer for locations, where things like Egypt, the Moon, or New York City all cost the same, unlike the logistical and budget limitations of filming around the world. This flexibility allowed the creators to present an idealized version of history untouched by real-world events. The series features an all-star voice cast, including Winnie Harlow, Cress Williams, Patricia Belcher, Lynn Whitfield, and Annika Noni Rose. Ryan Coogler, who directed Black Panther and its sequel, is an executive producer along with other key figures from Marvel Studios. Eyes of Wakanda is set to premiere on Disney Plus on August 6, 2025. Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies could very well be the hidden gem in the MCU's upcoming slate, especially considering how much the franchise has evolved in recent years. The animated series, inspired by the 2006 comic miniseries, dives deep into a universe where a zombie virus has wiped out most heroes. Unlike previous MCU projects, this show offers a more horror-driven, mature take, with alternate versions of characters like Scarlet Witch, Shang-Chi, and Blade. Its unique tone and setting could distinguish it from the main MCU storylines while still drawing on the multiversal concept. The appeal of Marvel Zombies isn't just about the multiverse, but also the gruesome, high-stakes storytelling. The shift to animation allows for a level of freedom that live action simply couldn't achieve, especially for a storyline as dark and twisted as this. This series might not be tied directly to the larger saga, so it's a perfect standalone project for fans looking for something different from the usual Marvel fare. With the success of What If and other animated MCU projects, Marvel Zombies could be the series that showcases just how far the MCU has come since its humble beginnings in Phase 1. Its mature rating and horror aspects also push the boundaries of what we can expect from the MCU, signaling a willingness to explore new genres within the established universe. The show has a great cast with Awkwafina, David Harbour, Simu Liu, Elizabeth Olsen, Randall Park, Florence Pugh, Haley Steinfeld, Dominique Thorne, and Iman Vellani all coming back from previous MCU projects, plus Todd Williams joining in. Marvel Zombies is set to debut on Disney Plus on October 3rd, 2025, with 4 episodes. Wonder Man. If you're wondering who Wonder Man is, you're not alone. The character is a bit of a deep cut in the Marvel Universe, so it's understandable if you haven't heard much about him. Wonder Man, aka Simon Williams, was created by Stan Lee, Don Heck, and Jack Kirby, making his debut 60 years ago in the Avengers #9. Originally a villain, Simon Williams inherited his father's weapons factory, putting him in competition with Tony Stark. He eventually goes to jail for embezzling funds, but after making a deal with Baron Zemo and Enchantress, he gains superpowers and goes after Iron Man. His story takes a twist when he seemingly dies but later reappears, often as a pawn of villains, including Ultron. Eventually, he becomes a founding member of the West Coast Avengers and is caught in a love triangle with Vision and the Scarlet Witch. One of Wonder Man's most interesting traits is that, alongside being a superhero, he's also an actor. Before joining the Avengers, Simon Williams had a career as a stuntman and actor in Los Angeles. The upcoming Disney Plus series will tap into this unique aspect with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who you might recognize from Aquaman and The Matrix Resurrections, playing Simon Williams. In the show, he's a struggling actor auditioning for the role of a superhero called Wonder Man on a fictional show within the series. The show, directed by Shang-Chi's Destin Daniel Cretton and Community's Andrew Guest, seems set to be a meta-commentary on superhero stories and Hollywood, much like the recent HBO satire, The Franchise. Ben Kingsley's Trevor Slattery, a character introduced in Iron Man 3 and later seen in Shang-Chi, will also make an appearance, adding to the Hollywood theme. Demetrius Gross and Ed Harris have also joined the cast. Wonder Man is set to premiere on Disney Plus in December 2025, with 8 episodes as part of Phase 6 of the MCU under the Marvel Spotlight banner. Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday is coming up fast, so it's the perfect time to get ready for the new movie. At first, this film was supposed to focus on Kang the Conqueror, but after Marvel dropped Jonathan Majors in 2023, more on that later, the spotlight has shifted to Doctor Doom. Plus, there's been a major casting reveal hinting at the MCU debut of several Fox X-Men characters. To sum it up, this movie looks like it's going to be worth the hype. Keep reading for our ultimate guide to Avengers Doomsday, but be warned, there are some Thunderbolts spoilers ahead, so turn back now if you're not caught up. Doomsday is set to drop on May 1st, 2026. Filming has officially kicked off, with the Russo brothers sharing a first-look photo from the set. Day 1, they posted on Instagram on April 28th, along with a shot of a chair labeled Victor Von Doom. At first, Kevin Feige confirmed that the movie would be out in 2025, with Secret Wars coming in 2026, as announced at Marvel's 2022 San Diego Comic-Con. But now, Secret Wars is slated for May 7th, 2027. So why the long wait between Avengers Endgame and Avengers 5? Feige explained that during Phases 1, 2, and 3, there were fewer projects spread across more years. They were smaller projects and individual character stories, he said. It felt right back then, after every 2 or 3 years, to release an Avengers film. He continued, as Phases 4, 5, and 6 were coming together, there are more projects in less years, because of all the amazing stuff we're now allowed to do on Disney Plus and getting characters from Fox, Fantastic Four and Deadpool, that it felt like certainly after Infinity War and Endgame, that we thought Avengers movies aren't cappers. Plot details for Avengers Doomsday are still being worked out. As mentioned, Robert Downey Jr. joining as Doctor Doom means there's going to be some multiverse stuff to explain, so the TVA from Loki is likely to make an appearance. The movie that probably is going to give us the most hints about the Avengers 5 plot is the Fantastic Four. Fans know Doctor Doom has been their greatest foe since his debut in the 60s comics, so it makes sense he'll be the MCU's next big threat in this Phase 6 film. Plus, the Thunderbolts post-credit scene already teases the Fantastic Four's entrance into the MCU. We also expect Avengers 5 to address the Kang storyline that Marvel's seemingly put on hold for now. Kang was set up as the next Thanos-level villain during Phase 4 and 5, showing up in Ant-Man Quantumania and the Loki series. Marvel will need to clear up what's going on with Kang before leaving him in the void for good. At SDCC 2024, it was announced that the Russo brothers will be directing both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Since they're behind Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, it's a big deal to have them back for these two films. Joe and I truly believed Endgame was the end of the road for us, Anthony Russo shared at the event. But over time, through a special story, we've come to see a road we could take with you all. Initially, Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton was set to direct the next Avengers movie. However, in November 2023, it was confirmed he would step down to focus on other Marvel projects, including Wonder Man. Also, in November 2022, Michael Waldron, known for his work on Loki and Doctor Strange 2, was confirmed to be writing the script for Avengers Doomsday, taking over from Jeff Loveness. Waldron was already slated to write Avengers Secret Wars. At SDCC 2024, there was a surprise casting announcement. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU, but this time as Doctor Doom. This is a huge shock and raises a lot of questions about the timeline, especially since Downey Jr. famously played Iron Man until his death in Avengers Endgame, which, let's be real, is one of the best Marvel movies ever. Putting continuity aside for now, we also got a good idea of which stars will be joining him. It was revealed that the casts of Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts will be part of Avengers 5. Marvel Studios surprised fans with a live stream on March 26, 2025, revealing more of the iconic cast for Avengers Doomsday. The lineup includes Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Letitia Wright as Black Panther, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Tena Huerta Meja as Namor, Eben Moss-Bacharach as Thing, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Louis Pullman as Sentry, Danny Ramirez as Falcon, Joseph Quinn as Human Torch, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Gambit, and Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. With comics hinting at more characters like She-Hulk being involved in the Doomsday plot, it's clear the roster will keep growing. Benedict Cumberbatch, who initially said he wouldn't be in the movie but later suggested he might, is another possible surprise addition, so expect the unexpected. Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, the movie will be released on July 31, 2026. Fans are hyped, especially after No Way Home. The title itself is a big clue, referencing a major comic storyline and marking a shift from usual MCU Spider-Man titles. Brand New Day is a popular Spider-Man story, mostly because of its ties to the infamous One More Day plotline. This could hint at what's next for Spider-Man in the MCU. Let's take a look at the story behind Brand New Day. To get it, we need some backstory. During the Civil War event, Peter Parker revealed his secret identity to the world. He did it because he was on Iron Man's side, which pushed superheroes to register with the government. This move led to big trouble. Kingpin ordered Peter's assassination, but the shooter hit Aunt May instead. With May in the hospital, Peter made a deal with Mephisto to save her life, in exchange for erasing his marriage to Mary Jane. This caused a ton of controversy. Spider-Man making a deal with the devil is one of the most disliked comic plots ever, but it set up Brand New Day, which started with Amazing Spider-Man number 546. Instead of being one story, Brand New Day was a reset for Spider-Man, with multiple smaller arcs running until Amazing Spider-Man number 564. It redefined the timeline, with the world forgetting Peter's secret identity, Peter and Mary Jane never getting married, and Harry Osborn coming back, only he was a clone. Since Brand New Day is tied to One More Day, it's one of the more famous Spider-Man stories. It also brought in new characters like Carly Cooper, a future love interest, police officer Vincent Gonzalez, the superhero Jackpot, Mr. Negative, and Menace. So what does Brand New Day mean for the MCU? If you remember No Way Home, some elements already resemble One More Day and Brand New Day. The spell Doctor Strange casts, which Peter messes up, was meant to erase the world's knowledge of his identity. But in the end, a second spell made everyone forget Peter entirely, including MJ, Ned, and all his superhero friends. That supernatural twist feels like a loose version of One More Day. With Brand New Day kicking off a new chapter for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, we might already have some hints at who will show up. In No Way Home, Peter met Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin thanks to the multiverse. Could the Osborns finally make their debut in the MCU? Harry could become Peter's best friend, especially with Ned forgetting him. Plus, Stranger Things' Sadie Sink has been cast, and there are two big theories about her role. She could either be Mary Jane or Jean Grey from the X-Men. But with the title Brand New Day, she might end up playing Carly Cooper, a new love interest for Peter. So with all this Marvel goodness coming our way, which project are you most excited about? Drop your thoughts below, and let's chat about the next big thing in the MCU. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because we'll be covering more updates on this soon, and other exciting upcoming movies and series. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.